They said his food was cursed. So an entire village refused to eat it. But 3 people did. And 1 week later, their lives changed in ways no one could explain. This is the story of a feast no one touched. And the price an entire village paid for fear. Listen closely, because this story isn't about food. If you're new here, welcome, just listen. This story begins in a small village called Okagbo. There are villages that forget people easily. Okagbo was one of them. It was the kind of place where everyone knew your name until life humbled you, then suddenly, your name became too heavy to carry in conversations. The roads were narrow, stained with red dust and old footprints. Zinc roofs rattled whenever the wind was bored. Chickens crossed paths like they owned the land, and gossip traveled faster than news. Maybe you've seen a place like this before. That was where Tanamola was born. His name, though associated with wealth, but from the beginning, life treated it like a joke told without laughter. His father, Baba Tanamola, was an honest cocoa farmer. Honest to a fault. The kind of man who believed that if you worked hard and prayed hard enough, tomorrow would respect you. Tomorrow never did. When sickness came, it came quietly. When money ran out, it did not warn them. And when Baba Tanamola died, it felt like the village exhaled and moved on. Tanamola was 9. His mother tried to fill the silence with effort. She cooked for ceremonies, washed clothes for neighbors, borrowed food with promises she struggled to keep. At first, people helped. Then help became delayed. Then it became advice instead of food. You must endure, they said. God will make a way, they said. Endurance doesn't fill a stomach. Tanamola learned early to read rooms. To know when to ask and when not to. He learned that hunger could make you invisible. At school he was bright, the quiet kind of smart that doesn't draw applause. When fees weren't paid, he was sent home with other poor children, watching the classroom from outside like it was another country. One evening, his mother collapsed. Not dramatically. Just tired. The house was empty of food. Tanamola stood at the doorway, staring at the road, calculating shame. He walked to a neighbor's house, a woman who used to greet him warmly when his father was alive. He waited. When he finally spoke, his voice shook. Please, my mummy hasn't eaten. The woman looked at him. Looked at her pot. Looked away. Go and come tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. That night, Tanamola sat beside his mother, listening to her breathe shallow breaths, and something inside him hardened. Not anger. Understanding. By 16, he had learned the final lesson Okagbo taught him. Poverty is forgiven. Neediness is not. So one morning, before the sun fully rose, Tanamola left. No farewell. No bag. No address. Just a decision. The city did not welcome him. It swallowed him. For weeks, he slept where he could, behind markets, under shop canopies, sometimes standing through the night because lying down felt too final. He washed plates until his fingers cracked. Carried loads heavier than his body. Smiled at insults because anger wasted energy. He watched other boys rise fast through shortcuts, and disappear just as fast. More than once, he was tempted. Very tempted. Hunger makes bad ideas sound reasonable. But every time, he remembered his mother's voice. No food is worth losing yourself. Years passed slowly. He failed often. Trusted wrongly. Slept hungry even while working. But he learned. He learned discipline. He learned patience. He learned that wealth built quietly lasts longer than wealth announced loudly. One opportunity changed everything, not big, not glamorous, but honest. From there, another followed. Then another. Slowly, Tanamola built something that could not be traced to shortcuts or shame. And through it all, one belief stayed with him. Food should never be a weapon. When he finally returned to Okagbo, nearly 20 years later, it was not to show power. It was to fulfill a vow. The village woke up to the sound of engines it had never heard before. Not motorcycles. Not old taxis. Engines that purred. Engines that announced money before people stepped out. A convoy rolled into Okagbo. Tinted SUVs. Men in black suits. Dark glasses even though the sun was soft. And at the center of it all, a tall man stepped out. Flowing white agbada. Gold wristwatch catching the light. calm eyes. A face that looked familiar, but upgraded by life. Someone whispered first. Tani? Another gasped. Is that Tanamola? By noon, the entire village knew. The boy who left hungry had returned wealthy. And that afternoon, under a hastily assembled canopy, Tanamola spoke. His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. I have come home, he said. And to celebrate. I have prepared a feast for everyone in Okagbo. No politics. No repayment. Just food. Come and eat. It sounded simple. Too simple. The feast was prepared like a festival. Drums of jollof rice releasing steam. Goat meat stacked neatly, smelling of pepper and patience. Coolers of drinks people only saw during weddings of rich relatives. A live band tuning instruments. Everything was ready. Except the people. At first, villagers peeped from a distance. Then they whispered. Where did he get this money? Money doesn't fall from the sky. Did you hear what they say about people who come back like this? Old women tightened their wrappers. Nothing is free, one muttered. Food with mystery carries consequences. Young men laughed nervously. Free food no day sweet when you don't trust the cook. Parents dragged children away from the tents. Minutes passed. An hour. The food cooled. The chairs remained empty. Tanamola stood there, smiling, but his eyes were searching. By evening, the band packed up. The sun dipped low. Plates remained untouched. And when night finally came, Tanamola sat alone, not angry, just quiet. Looking at food he had waited a lifetime to share. That night, Okagbo slept. But hunger doesn't sleep easily. Long after midnight, Mama Fadik stepped out. A widow. 3 children. An empty pot. She didn't argue with rumors. Hunger had already argued enough with her pride. She filled a bowl quickly and left. Later Iriti, the young girl who sold groundnuts by the roadside, came quietly. Her mother had been sick for months. Hope tastes better when mixed with desperation. Then Sei, an apprentice tired of being invisible, slipped in from the back. That was all. 3 people. The next week changed everything. Mama Fadik's small trade suddenly took off. A stranger offered her help without asking for favors. Iriti's mother stood up one morning and asked for food. Not medicine. Food. Sei's Oga, who had planned to sack him, suddenly offered partnership. Whispers returned to Okagbo. What did they eat? Which plate did they touch? Was it the rice, or the courage? People began to visit Tanamola. Apologies came first. Then excuses. Then requests. But this time, there was no feast. Only a bench under a mango tree. Some left blessed. Some left empty. Then one evening, Tanamola called the 3 who had eaten. He asked one question. Why did you trust me? Their answers were simple. Hunger has no pride. I had nothing to lose. I know what it means to be overlooked. He smiled. These were the hearts I prayed for. He blessed them quietly. Then came the final gathering. The village gathered again, hopeful. This time, Tanamola came with no food. Only a faded shirt, the one he wore when he left. I begged with this shirt, he said, and promised myself that if I ever returned rich, food would never be a weapon in my hands. Silence fell. You didn't reject my food, he continued. You rejected your own healing. Then he left. And Okagbo learned something too late. Some feasts test the stomach. Others test the heart. Somewhere today, kindness is being offered quietly. No drama. No agenda. And somewhere, fear is whispering reasons to refuse it. So when next a feast is laid before you, ask less about the cook. Ask more about the hunger in your heart. Some opportunities don't knock twice. When kindness comes quietly, listen carefully. If you were there that day, would you have eaten?